very interesting draft. Not what a lot of people were expecting. Some big names taken early, some big names taken late, some surprising trades, some surprising picks. So we're just gonna dive into everything today. So we're just gonna start off first night, first round. This is when all the big names are all blinged out, got their nice fits on out in Green Bay this year. So first overall pick, very expected quarterback out of Miami, Cam Ward, goes to the Tennessee Titans. Not really surprised there. He was the best quarterback in this draft class by far.
Agreed with that.
And he's got a cool story. You know, he came out of high school as a 0-star recruit. Played at Incarnate Word for a couple years. Transferred to
Washington State.
Yep, and then transferred to Miami last year and put up an absolute clinic.
Also, an interesting thing to add on to that, he after his last year at Washington State, he ultimately entered the draft and then took his name out of it and committed to Miami.
Yeah.
So he got that extra year of
worked out for him.
It did work out for him in an extra year in college, and he fell ultimately to number 1, which was good for him. Really good story, as Mason said, going from a low school 0 stars to the first round of the draft picks. So I mean, that just kind of shows that anything's possible.
Yeah. Moving on, the first night this is arguably probably the biggest move of the draft. Huge trade. Originally, the Cleveland Browns had the 2nd overall pick, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars traded them they gave up their 5th round pick and their 1st round pick for next year and a couple other picks to go get the 2nd overall pick. So the Browns and the Jaguars flip picks. Jaguars pick 2nd, Browns pick 5th now. And the Jags got their guy in Travis Hunter, wide receiver, DB, Jacksonville native, going back to play in his hometown in the big leagues. Really probably the most exciting part of the first round of the draft. And it's definitely a big pickup, a good pickup for the Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they needed some wide receivers or like a key wide receiver for their offense, and they got that. And then they also added same player, but on the defensive side of the ball. And they in their meeting, they said they were going to let him play both sides of the ball. So it's going to be really fun to watch him play in the NFL, going both sides, just like his college coaches. Deion Sanders was, I think, the last person to do that. So that'll be pretty cool.
I think that's very special for him. I think with just another Travis Etienne, the running back, and Trevor Lawrence. I think that's going to be a special little trio duo.
Maybe maybe all 3 of them they'll all click.
Yeah. Maybe possibly. Maybe they'll start clicking, and the Jacksonville Jaguars or
Jaguars. Oh man,
Jacksonville Jaguars will start getting hot.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
they'll have a good young core now to build off of for sure. And as Zach said, they said he'll be able to play. Travis Hunter will be able to play both sides of the ball. I think the Jaguars were probably one of the few teams in the league that he would be able to go to and play both sides of the ball at. It'll be interesting to see how long that lasts or if that holds up. But I think he's at the Jaguars. He'll be capable of doing it because I don't know if he'll be their best receiver because they got Brian Thomas Jr., but he could easily be their best DB.
Agreed.
And moving on to the 3rd overall pick. I'll let Zach talk about this.
Like to talk about
New York Giants fan, how you feeling about it?
Awesome pick here. We had at number 3. There was 2 guys that I wanted. It was either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. If we went outside of that, I wasn't going to be too happy. But we end up drafting the Penn State native Abdul Carter. Big pickup for our D-line. We got a strong D-line.
I would argue to say y'all have one of the top D-lines in the league.
We have one of the best
now.
D-lines in the league. We need to get better O-line. And, I think we had a really good draft.
Y'all did have a really good draft.
We got somehow in the 6th round, we got Cam Skattebo.
That was 3rd round.
That was the 3rd round? I thought it was like late round.
I think it was 3rd or 4th round.
Well, looks like you didn't watch the draft.
Yeah, well, we got Cam Skattebo. I think he's the 2nd best running back behind Gene in this draft.
4th round.
4th round. Crazy he fell that far. And then, traded up to the first round, and we got the second best quarterback in the draft, I would say, in Jackson Dart from Ole Miss.
That
Yeah.
is a good quarterback.
You know, I was really happy with Dable. You know, had a really good draft after last year was kind of but you know, we stepped it up this year.
A lot of the Giants organization has been pretty recently.
Yeah, well, that's changing because, you know, last Ole Miss quarterback we won 2 Super Bowls. So, you know, I think it was 2 because we had Michael Strahan on that team. But, you know, we picked Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick. You know, it's a really big key person for our D-line. You know, I'm excited for this next season upcoming and see how the Giants can do this season.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a good draft for y'all. Y'all might have had one of the best drafts out of anybody in the league.
Falcons also had a really good draft. Shout out to Coach Dysert. Loves the Falcons.
Yeah. You know, we're not go through every pick, but I'll highlight some of the big names. Especially top 10, everybody's pretty big name. You know, star O lineman out of LSU, Will Campbell, going to the Patriots. He's already hyping up Drake May, saying he's gonna do whatever it takes to protect him.
I'm gonna go to death for that guy right there. I'm not gonna get anybody getting my quarterback.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That was a great pick there.
5th overall, best D lineman in the draft, Mason Graham from Michigan, going to the Browns.
Best D lineman, Abdul Carter.
Here we go.
alright.
Here we go. Let me hear it.
Abdul Carter's the best
We'll
D
talk about
lineman.
ta-
Let's go.
Yeah.
Best D tackle.
Let's
best D
get
tackle.
after
Yeah, all right, D tackle. I'll give you that, but defensive.
Carter's an
lineman.
edge.
Yeah, Carter is an edge, but defensive lineman, we're giving it to Abdul Carter. But Mason Graham, great pick for them. You know,
And then I was kind of surprised by this pick, Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. I didn't think he was going to go this early.
neither did I.
Best running back in the draft,
I think
obviously.
he's gonna be a bust.
Oh, I don't know about
All right,
that.
get into detail. Why do you think he's going to be a bust,
I
Chandler?
just, he went to Boise State. I'm not trying to say like they didn't really play anybody because they went to the playoffs and everything, but just don't think he'll play up to the standards almost. Just kind of like, nah, he was better than Will Shipley, but
I think
Oh,
if Will
no,
Shipley was
I
at Boise State, I mean, I think it's about the same. About
yeah,
the
I
same.
think he's like the same.
About the same guy.
So do you agree with me? He's gonna be a bust.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Biggest bust in the
I don't-
draft.
I can't get behind that. I think he's going to translate pretty well over to the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. Same with Cam Scanaboo.
Well, I mean, since we're all talking about our favorite teams, let's go over to the Jets with
7th
You know,
overall pick.
just Ahmad
Mimbo.
Mimbu. Yeah, that's my dog right there, coming from a zoo. He's got that
What position does he play?
OT.
Yeah.
OT, offensive tackle right there.
OT, I know my stuff.
plays overtime.
No, that's OTE. Never say that again. That's my dog right there. He's gonna really change the Jets organization around.
We gotta
Yeah.
have a good O line behind Justin Fields. They're gonna keep him straight.
Oh yes, by far.
All right.
We
There we go.
stand on favorite teams. I'm a new favorite fan of the Indianapolis Colts. baby.
Wow, the Indianapolis Colts. He is.
out!
He
Riley
has-
Leonard, baby. Come on.
He likes Riley Leonard because he played. Where'd he play at?
He
Chandler.
played at Notre Dame.
He played at Notre Dame.
Oh.
Now a bunch of the Notre Dame players went like really late compared to and I know they went to the national championship but lost, and I was kind of surprised that a bunch of them went really late. Hey man, but it's whatever.
A school that did not have a lot of players go late, but they had a ton of players get drafted was Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State went crazy in this draft. I think they tied the record or their program record for most
When was their first
players
their
drafted in the draft.
Was their first player picked in the second round? Was it
Uh,
Quinshon Judkins, or did they
The
have
first
him
was
early?
Emeka Egbuka,
Oh,
the
Emeka Egbuka,
receiver
really good wide receiver out
going
of
to the-
Ohio State.
going to the Buccaneers.
The Bucks didn't have a bad draft either.
Yeah, there was actually a lot of teams who drafted pretty well, found a good balance. But then there's also some teams who had not good
mid draft.
drafts.
Yeah.
I'm looking over here and I see Jackson Dart's name on there.
How you feel about that?
Dude, I feel really good about that. Here, I'm gonna put us on the screen here.
He'll be a
We're gonna
bust.
look up here. Let's see what we got here.
So I would say this isn't probably the strongest receiver class they've
Yeah,
that
I
has
just
come
haven't-
to the NFL draft in a while,
Ooh,
but
Tatar,
I just haven't
Tatario,
heard about
whatever.
half these
Tetro
dudes.
McMillan, first wide receiver off the board, going to the Panthers. I think he'll be a good fit there.
Also, they just signed the Panthers. They got him, and they just signed Hunter Renfrow, the Clemson native. So
Their offense will low-key be pretty good this year.
they
Bryce
should.
Young finding his
Bryce
form.
Young, yeah, that'll be good.
Where did
Uh,
the guy who was like, I think he went to like Arizona, Arizona State, and he would do all the catches with like one hand. And
Oh,
Put between his
the dude from
legs.
like Hawaii.
yeah,
That's the dude from that's
That's the dude from
McMillan,
Arizona.
the dude from
right? Yeah, that's
Arizona.
him.
where'd he go?
the Panthers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that dude is him.
Tatoa McMillan.
And then yeah, as
Hold
we
up.
said, Emeka Egbuka went to
Yeah.
the Bucks, and then Matthew Golden from Texas, another receiver.
That was the first time that the
Where's he going? Going to
he's going to Green Bay. That was the first time
Oh.
Green Bay drafted a wide receiver in the first round since 2002.
I don't know what y'all think about this, but what do y'all think about some of the quarterbacks going before Quinn Ewers? Like the let's say like the guy before Quinn
Well-
Ewers, like who I don't even know who that was.
Didn't Quinn Ewers say that he wasn't going to play in the NFL or something like that?
I don't know,
Could've sworn
but
he said
all I
something
know
like
is
that.
he had the opportunity to go to the transfer portal and make $8 million, and now he got drafted and is only making $800,000.
Yeah.
Speaking of money, who got lost?
Probably the.
We're
I
gonna-
think I know what you're gonna talk
We're
about.
going to talk about who fell to the 5th round, and that is
This is probably the highlight of the
the
draft.
highlight of the
Aw,
draft.
man.
Shador Sanders falls to the 5th round after being projected a top 5 pick, and a lot of people.
He was getting trolled.
He got prank called.
Yeah.
A lot of things. I mean, this was the big talk in the draft. He fell to the 5th round of the Cleveland Browns, and they even drafted
Oh,
Dylan Gabriel
Where did
before
Shiloh
him.
go?
Shallow.
Undrafted
He got
to
undrafted to the Bucks. He signed a free agent. But I mean, Shador Sanders in his last year at Colorado in NIL, he made $6 million in 1 year. Now he signed for $4.5 million over 4 years. So he is losing a lot of money.
I mean, this is probably the most wild thing that's happened in a draft that I can remember. I mean, he went from when the mock drafts first started coming out, he was the projected number 1 overall pick, and then a bunch of stuff started coming about him not wanting to play at some places, him sandbagging interviews with some teams, not being prepared in interviews through the whole pre-draft process, and then it was surprising. The pick where the Giants got Jackson Dart, they actually traded up to get back into the first round to draft. You knew when they made that trade, they were going to go for a quarterback, and it would seem like it was either going to be Shador or Jackson Dart, and ultimately they got Jackson Dart. So when that happened, you kind of knew Shador was out of the first round because no other teams needed a quarterback. And then that was probably the most shocking one, not being in the first round. Then you're like, all right, he's going to be drafted in the second round. No, he's not drafted in the second round. Then day 3 comes, not drafting the third round, not drafting the fourth round, and everybody's just like, what's going on? I mean, obviously something was going on, and turns out that the league thought he was a 5th round caliber quarterback, and
I mean,
got picked up by the Browns, which was weird because they did just draft Dylan Gabriel in the 4th round or 3rd round before that.
4th round. But I agree with him going in the 5th round. I did not think he was a quarterback that was. I don't really think he's good. The one that was surprising that the Saints took Tyler
I don't know how to say the last name.
Shaw or
Schau.
whatever.
The
I didn't think
quarterback from
I didn't think
Louisville.
he should have gone before Shador, but
He was the 3rd
he
quarterback
was
taken off the
third.
board.
He was.
I think that was
Who was the first? Cam Ward, then Jackson Dart, and then it was Tyler
Shaw.
Shaw. Yeah, from Louisville.
probably the most surprising quarterback pick.
Yeah, because he had a terrible combine. But I saw a thing the other day that had like quarterbacks, all the quarterbacks that got drafted in the teams that they played at in college, and only 2 people were at one school, and that was Jalen Milroe and then the North Dakota State quarterback. Those are the only 2 players that played at one school. Every other person was 2, 3, 4 teams. So that just shows what the transfer portal is doing now to college sports. But yeah, the main topic was Shador Sanders falls to the 5th round.
And now the Browns have 5 quarterbacks in their quarterback room.
They actually have a really good quarterback room.
They have Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett,
Kenny Pickett.
Dylan Gabriel, and now Shador Sanders. And not all of them are obviously going to be on the roster by the time regular season comes around. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, because I could easily see one of the 2 rookies getting cut, and then
I think
probably
Shador Sanders is going to be a practice squad player.
That
if
dude,
I'm
he
being
needs to
honest.
can he get traded?
Yeah, that's what people were saying. They
Like,
said
they
they might
have
have
to.
drafted him for a trade piece, but
he's not
gonna
going
play.
anywhere, yeah.
yeah, I don't think that his NFL career is going to live up to what he hoped it was going to be.
You know, one thing I would like to talk about: Hunter Renfrow signing with the Carolina Panthers. Did he retire?
He
and
didn't
then came
retire. He
back?
just didn't get signed by
Yeah,
anybody.
he just was basically a free agent for a whole year. Just basically took a year off.
You proud of him, Chandler?
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
You gonna or what
Yeah,
do they
two-
say? Pound on.
Oh, I got no clue. But now I got two favorite teams, baby. Carolina
Keep
Panthers.
pounding, keep
Keep
pounding.
pounding. Keep pounding. So you gonna keep pounding for Hunter Renfrow?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of the Clemson guys, shout out Barrett Carter, linebacker, getting picked in the 4th round of the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know, as Will Craig would say, bro, get out with that. Like,
Bruh, get out.
Hey,
he
bruh.
went to
There was a lot of South Carolina players that got drafted too.
JT
Was there not-
Sanders.
There's like 3 of them, right?
Like 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, JT Sanders, Kyle Kennard, the running back. What was the running back's name?
Dude,
From
their running
Arkansas.
back, that dude is huge,
Yeah,
bro.
what's it? Rocket Sanders. He got drafted, and who was the 4th person to get drafted? JT Sanders,
Nick Emenwari.
Nick Emenwari. He went in the second.
I think, yeah, he was the first Carolina
He was the
player
first
taken off
No,
the
that
board.
kid's gonna.
No,
I think that kid was
JT.
actually good.
I thought it was JT Sanders first.
Oh,
the
was it?
Yeah, the defensive lineman
I'm surprised by
or
that.
linebacker. Yeah, linebacker, and then it was Nick Emenwari, who I thought was the best safety in the draft.
2 other Clemson guys got drafted as well. R.J. Mickens, safety,
Renenstuhl.
going to the Chargers, and then
I know Brigingstool signed with the.
Phil Maffa got drafted by the Cowboys.
He's going to be a bust.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Jake Brigingstool went.
Jake Brigingstool. He got
signed.
undrafted
Undrafted free
No,
Is he a
agent.
senior?
I'm talking about Phil Maffa.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Jake Brigingstool. I think that was crazy because I think he's going to be a guy that plays. You know, Travis Kelsey's going to be gone. He's going to be the guy to
No,
step
yeah, I
up.
think
and he's
he's
going to
gonna
make.
be
He's
good.
going to make it happen.
But I was talking about Phil Maffa. He's going to be a bust. He is not.
He
gonna
probably
be
just won't
playing
get many
good.
opportunities, honestly.
I mean, he's going to be ahead of Deuce Vaughn.
I mean, yeah, but he started
Yeah.
falling off at the end of his Clemson season.
Bruh, that's 'cause
Yeah,
he was
shoulder
hurt. He was
injury,
hurt.
shoulder
bro.
injury.
Doesn't
He
play the
was-
entire season
He was
injured.
atrocious.
You know, speaking of, we were talking about Brigingstool and tight ends. Colson Loveland or whatever from Michigan went like 10th overall.
Who, bro?
He went to the
Who's
Bears.
that?
Colson
Like,
Loveland.
who?
Here, look, here, we're-
Like, who is
we're gonna
you?
Oh, no, we got 200. We're looking at number 10 right here.
Like, who is you?
Colson Loveland from Michigan. I was kind of surprised about
There's
this.
3
Like,
Michigan
who is
players
that?
taken in the first 13 picks.
Who is
And
that?
Donovan Edwards went undrafted.
Yeah, I mean, that was expected, though.
Cover of College Football 25. Upsetting.
I'd
Yeah.
say overall, though, pretty
Overall, good draft.
exciting draft. A lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, it was a really good draft. Anybody else? Chandler, any comments on this draft?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Pfeiffer?
Good draft. Good draft.
I'd say good draft as well. I think Mason agrees with me on that one.
Sure do.
But really, really good draft there, and excited to see what these rookies can do in the future. But that's done with our NFL draft.
Did we
topic.
check in with our Vikings? How did their draft go?
We did forget our Vikings. We'll go check the Vikings real quick.
They got an O lineman, first round.
Skull. 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 Skull.
I mean, I don't really know. They probably had a decent draft.
About
I
time we
mean,
did that again.
they don't really
Yeah.
need much offensively.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the NFL draft things. And now we're gonna get into like the circus side of things with the Savannah Bananas in Death Valley, 81,000 sold out. Savannah Bananas. They had a great showing in the Clemson Memorial Stadium. I know Mason went to this game, so I'm gonna give it to him and see what did you see in that game. I mean, I know there was a record of 11 home runs hit.
I mean, talk about seeing stuff. You saw stuff the whole time. I
Yeah.
mean, stuff going on. The baseball banana ball side of things. The people coming up in the stands. I mean,
If you catch a foul ball, it's out.
so many. I mean, it's a good time.
Cool
Honestly,
rules.
Cool rules. It's a cool game.
Trick
Obviously,
plays going on, backflip catches,
Did
something
anybody,
between the legs.
anybody hit through the goalpost?
not
during
during
BP, during BP, Jackson Olsen did hit one. In
But
the
yeah, as Zach said, there's a record of 11 home runs hit.
short left field, 190
Sadly,
feet with a
yeah.
tall fence, but they could easily get him out
Yeah.
there.
But it was very entertaining. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff pregame, a lot of stuff during the game. I would recommend it to anybody who tries to go see one of their games.
Hard to get tickets, but if you can get a hold of them, I went in the fall when they played the baseball team, and it was awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like a big circus.
And they're like, I don't know, growing their brand well. I mean, obviously, if they're selling out an 81,000 seat stadium, then they're doing something right. But it was even if you don't like baseball, I would say even if you don't like baseball,
It's a
it's a
different-
good time.
it's
It's
a-
like it's not you're not
It's not baseball.
yeah
it's
you're
a
not
different
going to watch a baseball game. You're going
It's
to
a good
watch a.
time.
It's not like a show. I don't even know.
It's just y'all singing. Who y'all
It's the
singing over
winner
there?
on the wet line.
All right.
Excuse my friend Pfeiffer here.
He just said having a good time, so it reminded me
Yeah.
of that song.
You know, they
It's
had
just-
country star Russell, or not? Did they have Russell Dickerson go out
Yeah.
there? Yep, he went out there. Dabo Sweeney ran down the hill. That was pretty cool to see him run down the hill. And then C.J. Spiller got in there, did some dancing. You know, it was just an overall it was a cool thing to watch. You know, it was on ESPN. I did tune in and watch. A lot of home runs, and the thing is about these players is they're not just not good baseball players. Like, they played D1 ball. They made it to the minor leagues. They're good baseball players. So it's really cool. I mean, even the umpire, he gets
Yeah.
he gets in there.
He gets in there and does what he's supposed to do. He gets nice excitement from the crowd. He just does what he's supposed to do.
He does some dance moves and all. I mean, it's a really fun thing. I would recommend going to watch the Bananas.
100%.
You know that as we're speaking of it, they added a new team. Starting soon. They got the Tailgaters.
Texas Tailgaters.
Texas Tailgaters. So they got
You
four.
kidding me?
They got 4 teams in the league. First off with the Savannah Bananas, then the Party Animals, then the Firefighters, and then the Tailgaters. So
Hey, don't forget about the Clemson Tigers. They played them too.
a lot of people have played them, but they're actually playing them again next year.
Yeah.
And Doug Kingsmore, but it was cool to see. They played on the football field. A lot of people there. The hill was actually packed for this game. Can't do that in football games. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it was cool to see. I mean, they play with yellow balls, yellow bases. They just have cool. They just do cool things. I mean, it's
It's a good time.
it is a good time. I mean, I know their guy Jesse, the yellow suit.
Yeah.
He says when it's your time, you just keep going. I mean, they walk up the plate. They do something cool. I mean, they get interactive with the fans. And then I saw something where, if this dude struck out, then he got everybody got free donuts in the
Uh-huh.
crowd. Did you get a donut, Mason?
Nah, I was sitting in the upper deck. so I
Yeah,
didn't
they
get
just,
done,
they just,
but
they were tossing.
even
them
in
out
the
there.
upper deck, they had people coming up there interacting with the fans, keeping everybody engaged. Just, like I said, just a really good time overall, and I would recommend it.
They got their fan club. Their guys that have the pom poms
Yeah.
out there, and they get them going. They got a mascot. I mean, it starts off. Did they do a weigh in?
They did.
They do the weigh in and stuff
What
with
is
the
the weigh-in?
It's just like
You just
I think
weigh
they
in the
have
coach.
kind of they have kind of skit type stuff throughout the thing, dances and stuff. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You just have to go watch it to find out.
Yeah, definitely recommend going to see the Savannah Bananas. But yeah, just go watch the Bananas. That's all I got for the Bananas. We're gonna roll over to our last thing that we're gonna talk about today. Tonight, it is the rivalry in the Anderson County between TL Hanna and Westside. I'm gonna give it to Mason for no bias D. But here we're gonna talk about TL Hanna baseball, a little preview before the game. What do you got for us, Mason?
Yep. Big game tonight, or big series this week. First game's tonight at Westside at what time?
6:30.
6:30. Second game's Thursday at Hannah at
6:30.
6:30. So really exciting. Last series of the season for both teams, I think.
Yes.
It's gonna be what you expect out of a rivalry game. I mean, I think it'll be close. Rivalry games are always close. It's always gonna be, fans are gonna be fired up, but it's gonna be a good game. I think. I know Hannah, y'all are doing pretty well this season. I'm not sure how's Westside looking this year.
They're better than past years.
Yeah, they're having a pretty good season themselves. So I think it's matching up to be a good game. I do think I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible, but as a Hannah fan, I think the boys are going to get it done tonight. I hope the boys are going to get it done tonight. What's y'all's What are y'all thinking? What's y'all's mindset going into this series?
Going into the series, we just want to play our kind of ball. We know we're capable of playing, and if we can play the best we can play, if we can get our pitchers out there throwing strikes, getting outs, and then our hitters that we know they can get on, get base runners, I think we're going to be fine. We're out with Pfeiffer today, but I think we're going to be fine with this game. Just got to start off hot and keep it going throughout the game.
Yeah, I think that kind of the same thing. I think that we just need to play to our level and not go down and play to West Side's level. I think we just need to play our ball, play what the
Play
do what the
fast.
Jackets do, and just play with energy, having fun, just doing what the Jackets do.
Chandler, what's your preview of tonight's game with the
Y'all
team?
better get out there and show them how it's done, baby. Let's go.
Okay. I know it's at West Side tonight. They're going to be fired up. That doesn't really change anything for us, but we just want a clean game for both teams. But we're always hoping for the Yellow Jackets to come out on top.
Yeah, I would say anybody in the community, if you don't have any plans tonight, head over to West Side 6:30. Watch some action on the diamond.
See us in real life, and
Yeah.
then y'all can take a picture with us after the game.
Yeah, you can see your crew at the Yellow Jacket Sports Talk.
And then same thing Thursday night. You got any plans? Head on over to Hannah 6:30. Watch some good action.
That's right.
It's gonna be a good series. Gonna be some good ball games. Good into the season before playoffs, and best of luck to both teams.
Yeah, best of luck to both teams. If we had Will in here, we could get his feedback on here, but he's not here today. But
I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll be
He'd say
analyzing the game on
He'd
Thursday.
say about the same thing, I think.
yeah, they're gonna roll out some good pitchers. We're gonna roll out some good pitchers, good hitters. We're just hoping for a nice clean game between both teams, and wish everybody best of luck. So if you don't have anything to do tonight, come out to the West Side High School baseball field, and me and Pfeiffer will be there. The Yellow Jack Sports Talk Show, will be there, so you can catch us there.
I will not be playing tonight, but you'll see me cheering on our Jackets.
That's right. We'll be cheering on tonight. We'll just come out to the game and watch some good baseball. Going to be an exciting week. Thursday at Hannah. You can come out to that one, but we're hoping for a good week and a good show for tonight's game first, and then we'll go on to Thursday. That's kind of the preview of the game for tonight and Thursday. We'll preview probably some more Thursday. But just show out, come out and be loud. And also, if you have any questions or any comments for us, you can email us at yjstwalh@gmail.com for any feedback. And we hope that y'all will give us some feedback here.
One more time, that is yjstwalh@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys.
We'd love to hear from you guys, as Mason said. We need some comments in here. If anything y'all want to talk about, we definitely will talk about it. But we will see you guys on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good day, folks.